Hello everyone, this is Sakuems, so welcome back on my channel. In this week's video, I'm going to walk you through the process of this artwork called Lillies. So I was inspired by an artwork from an art book that I found like 2 months ago or something at the bookstore from Benjamin Lacombe, who's a French artist. I believe he's actually French. Not sure. Maybe he's from Belgium or something, but I think he's French. And he is a pretty talented artist, and I really like his work. Now, I'm not like a huge fan of everything that he has done, but I did really like this book because it is from Japanese folklore. And so the artwork that I was inspired by was like from this kappa into a lake, and I really like the composition, I really like the posture, and just all around it was very inspiring for me. But I also wanted to try out to work with a limited color palette because I tend to incorporate a lot of different shades and a lot of different colors. Just going from basically the entire rainbow, and it can be a good thing to incorporate different hues, but whenever you are going too far away from a color, you end up going full circle, and then it really looks like rainbow art. And so it's not something necessarily that I want to break out from entirely, but I want to try out a limited color palette. So this was the case with this color. So this was the case for this artwork. As you can see, I have selected a few shades. I did shift it a bit from that palette because I didn't want to have just like yellow or green flowers. I was using that as a base, but then I was also working with lotus flowers, and so I figured that I could at least incorporate one bit of pink just on the flowers and a tiny bit also on the skin tone of the girl. But the majority of the colors used in this were actually indigo blue, ultramarine blue, tons of blue, cyan a bit more, and then this lime green. But yeah, that is basically like the majority of the shades and the color used. I was still looking for something very much blue and lime and pink. There's like 3 major colors, and then I had a bit of fun playing around that. But every shade, every hue, not shade, every color, for example the lime green, was incorporated everywhere almost, has highlights, as lowlights for the leaves and the hair. It is the same shade. I didn't really select a different kind of green. Even the shading of the green was done with indigo and more like turquoisey blue, but that indigo was also used in like the outlines and also in the bottom of the lake. And the purpley tones were incorporated as little outlines, but also has a shadow light on the face. Everything in the artwork was full circle, the same way I will do with rainbow art, but with a limited color palette. So that's like the general thought process when I worked and when I attacked this piece, was to really build the shading with this limited color palette and make sure that I don't drift away too far from that, just to see how balanced the artwork could be compared to an artwork with basically the same technique but with more colors. So that's why I ended up with the look of this that you will see as I'm speaking. So yeah, a bit more about the artwork, like the mood that comes with it. So what I did is I rearranged everything from the reference, but I didn't do the same style, of course. The general like position of things were similar. What I liked about the Benjamin Lacombe artwork is that it is very blurry in the background, but it's really hard to do when you work with watercolors, and I also used a bit of gouache in this because I still wanted to have some definition in the background, but I also wanted to keep it blurry, so the focus is in the foreground. So you'll see in the end that I ended up with a bit of a blur, but it's not as blurry as I would hope for. I would need like a, you know, like a focus, like a focal thing, like what is it, like the bokeh effect that you will have if you were to actually focus on one part and then the rest of your photograph is blurry. I don't know how to achieve that with watercolors. I'm pretty sure that it's supposed to be just a decision of still making it blurry, and then you can actually make more detail in the foreground, which I still did. Like, there's a lot more details in the foreground. You will see that in the end of this video when you see the complete artwork. But the background really is still, to me, a little bit too detailed, so I don't really have that effect that I wanted to have, but I'm still really happy with that. So yeah, so I've kept like the composition roughly the same. I've tried to do this blurry effect. Then I've changed, of course, the character, because I didn't want to do a kappa. I wanted to do a nymph, or like some sort of water spirit. And it's not necessarily a mermaid, because you can't see the bottom half of her, but you are open to interpretation when it comes to this. She can be really anything, but to me she is more of like a spirit of the water. I really, really like the lime hair, and she's kind of like, she is different from what I usually paint. I feel like she looks younger, but also like mature in a way, a little bit mysterious. I really like how I worked on the face, and just I'm really, really happy with the actual character design. And I first, when I was working on this, because it is quite small, I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to do the shading on the face, and so she'll look kind of odd. But then I went to the art store and I actually got like detailing brushes, and I've did everything with paint brushes. I didn't use a pen or anything. I could have, but like I really wanted to get this painterly look, and I like to draw with paint. I've also didn't use any Copic markers. I usually have a base with watercolors, and then I will build the shading with markers. But I am actually trying to drift away from using markers, and I'm gonna be like, I mean, I'm really sad that I'm doing this, but like markers and Copic markers, alcohol markers in general, they're not light fast. They fade over time. And so every single like artwork that I've done with markers only have faded within the within years, and even more so if you think about it, like in 10 years or 20 years. So this made me upset a lot, and so I didn't think that I should incorporate that into artworks that are going to be sold. Exception is if you are using markers on top of watercolors and then you build up the shading again with gouache or pencils, for example, your marker ink will be in sandwich between two other mediums. So that's working, which is what I usually do. But for this design, I wanted to keep it very like one medium oriented, although I did use thicker watercolors, and I also use a bit of gouache, but mainly my White Nights watercolors, and I've used them like as watercolors, and then I actually built up the opacity, and I went almost with pure watercolors. So I should have probably used the gouache, not the watercolors, because they're like a bit more expensive. So in the future I may actually combine watercolors as a base and then gouache, but that was like the general idea when it came to like use what I will use in tools, the composition, and the feel of the feeling really of the artwork. Wanted it to be a bit mysterious, not as like bubbly and cute. She still has like some style. It is not like completely different from what I usually do, but I really like that I've pushed myself and I made something a bit more different with a limited color palette. And at first I wanted to do the artwork again on like a larger canvas or like a larger paper, basically, because I wanted to have fun focusing on the character. But because I spent like nearly 7 hours on this artwork, I don't think I'll have the patience to start again. But I mean, I still really like it. Yeah, so last thing, that I wanted to talk about quickly. So as always, of course, the artwork is available in my Etsy store. You also can get the print. And I'm going to also quickly mention that I am thinking about stopping this channel, and I know that it's going to be a shock for some and not so for others. Now, I'm not going to stop right away, of course. I'm going to push myself for the rest of the year, basically until December, to be able to evolve as an artist and to make changes and to have fun. I mean, there's a lot of things that I want to share here, but based on the analytics of my last 2 videos, I'm a little bit worried because I'm getting low views, pretty low views. I'm getting less than 400 views on my last 2 videos, which is a bit like, it makes me sad because I've shared stuff that are really personal, that are really special. I've tried to walk you through some of my days and share more of my art. I don't know why there's less views really, but I'm hoping that I can work on maybe more artsy content, not vlog content, that will maybe be like better, like more interesting to watch. I don't know. But I've been trying to stay relevant on this platform for a long time, and I realize that I don't really need YouTube if it doesn't bring that much interest, because I can connect with you guys on other platforms. I can do that on Instagram or Facebook, and even everywhere else. I don't need like YouTube as a social media if it actually doesn't work. If YouTube hides my videos, or if you don't like my videos, what's the point really? Because it is a lot of work, and I still need to think about my future in terms of my art career. Where is my time the best like invested in, you know, where should I put my time and effort? And for now, I'm still going to work on my other projects, my books, my stories and everything, and then push myself into making more like different artwork. I'm actually working on like collecting stuff for sketchbooks, concept art, and I've been really trying to evolve like that, and I will share that online. So I'm not going to leave right away. I am allowing myself some time to work towards making this platform not what it used to be, but something that I can rely on and somewhere I can connect with you guys. But if it doesn't pick up at the end of this year, I will stop my channel and I will not post anymore. I will just focus on other social media and still create art, but that's it. And yeah, I think I'll covered what I wanted to say. I'm still really grateful, don't get me wrong, for everything. It's just been a hard time right now when it comes to my job, because my sales are low again, my interactions, my engagement is low, and it makes me question a lot my future as an artist, because I don't want to I don't want to stop making art, but I also need to support myself, so I would have to find a way to make that possible. Or is it with my art again? Will I continue that, or is it with something else? I have no idea, because that again, I am allowing myself about a year to fall back on track and make enough money to support myself with my work. And if I can't get to that, I will also probably stop being a full-time artist and just find something else, because it's not sustainable. So yeah, it is a bit sad to finish on that, but I just wanted to mention that quickly. If you want help and if you want to support my work, then don't forget to like and share and subscribe and comment below. And you can also check my store for any updates, and I also have now a Discord server, so link will be below if you'd like to join. There's nothing, like no requirements besides having a valid email and be kind, of course, and not spam the chat. So far there's not a lot of people, we're like 4, so if we end up with a lot of people, I will have mods and just figure things out. But for now, it's just a way for me to connect with you guys. If you join, then you won't miss anything. I will post new artworks and a lot of other things. So yeah, if you'd like to join, that would be great. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. If you have any suggestions for future uploads, anything, I would gladly read about it. And if you like this artwork, then just let me know in the comments. And that will be it. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye!